Have you ever asked yourself why your life feels like it's standing at the edge of something unfinished? Why? Even when you follow the rules, meet expectations, and do what is required, there is still a quiet tension inside you that refuses to go away. Why does your heart race when you hear words like purpose, calling, destiny, while others feel nothing at all? And why are you here, listening now instead of scrolling past like so many others? Let me ask you something directly. When was the last time you felt truly aligned with your life, not just busy, not just productive, but deeply right? This message is not here to entertain you. It is here to interrupt you. Because interruption is often the first mercy before transformation. You have been moving, but not always moving forward. You have been functioning, but not fully living. And your spirit knows the difference, even when your schedule does not. Look at your everyday reality. You may wake up early, rush through traffic, sit behind a desk, or stand on your feet all day, doing what needs to be done. You are responsible. You show up. You endure. Yet inside, something keeps asking, is this the life I was designed for, or just the life I learned to survive? That question doesn't come to everyone. It comes to those who were built for more than repetition. Think about your work. Maybe you're competent but constantly overlooked. You carry ideas others don't see. You solve problems quietly while louder voices get the credit. You tell yourself to be grateful, and you are. But gratitude doesn't erase the sense that your capacity exceeds your current position. That frustration is not arrogance, it's misalignment. Or consider your finances. You budget, you plan, you sacrifice, still the money feels tight. Not only because of numbers, but because your soul resists living small. You don't crave luxury, you crave freedom. Freedom to give, to build, to create without fear. And deep down, you sense that scarcity is not your final language, even if it's your current one. Now think about your family or close relationships. You often feel like the one who carries emotional weight, the one who thinks deeper, questions patterns, notices cycles no one else wants to confront. Sometimes you're told you're too serious or overthinking. But what if you're not overthinking? What if you're simply awake? Here is the truth. Most people avoid awakening as uncomfortable. It isolates you before it elevates you. And many people abort their calling not because they fail, but because they get tired of feeling different. Let me ask you plainly, how long have you been shrinking your questions to keep others comfortable? You see, destiny doesn't always announce itself with excitement. Often, it arrives as dissatisfaction, a holy discomfort, a sense that you can no longer pretend this is enough. That feeling is not ingratitude. It is invitation. You are not created to live numb. You are not formed to mute your discernment. You are not designed to trade your calling for convenience. And yet, you have negotiated with delay. You've said, later, when things are safer. Later, when I'm more ready. But something in you knows later is starting to sound like never. And this is where the word meets you not gently, but truthfully. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay." Notice the paradox. It feels delayed, but heaven says it is not. What you interpret as slowness is often precision. God does not rush what must last. He does not release vision into hands that haven't learned patience, humility, and endurance. Think about that. The pressure you've endured at work taught you discipline. Financial strain taught you stewardship. Family tension taught you emotional strength. None of it was wasted. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. But preparation has an expiration date. Waiting without obedience becomes stagnation. Vision requires movement, not just belief. Imagine this instead. You begin making decisions that honor what you know, not what you fear. You stop apologizing for your depth. You choose growth over approval. Slowly, doors begin to open, not all at once, not dramatically, but clearly. You feel peace not because everything is perfect, but because your direction is settled. That is hope you can live with, not fantasy, alignment. Let me slow this moment down. Breathe. This is not about doing everything today. It's about deciding today. Because once you decide, your actions will follow. So here is the question I want you to sit with honestly. If God revealed your full calling right now, would you be willing to rearrange your life to receive it? Not everyone will say yes. And that's why not everyone hears this message the same way you do. If this stirred something in you, don't rush past it. Mark this moment. Like this message and share it with someone who feels stuck between patience and promise. Subscribe so you stay connected to what is unfolding. And in the comments, type 111 not as a ritual, but as a quiet declaration that you are ready to trust timing without abandoning vision. This is not coincidence. This is alignment beginning to surface. You did not become this way overnight. The depth you carry, the restraint you've learned, the silence you mastered, none of it was accidental. Long before anyone noticed your strength, you were being shaped in places no one applauds. And if you're honest, some of the hardest seasons of your life were also the quietest. There were times you felt invisible, times when doing the right thing brought no reward, times when you wondered if obedience was worth the loneliness it produced. You watched others advance faster, laugh louder, live easier. Meanwhile, your path felt narrow, slow, and demanding, and you weren't failing, you were being trained. Think about how much of your growth happened when no one was watching. The nights you stayed awake replaying conversations, questioning decisions, wrestling with God in silence. The mornings you showed up anyway, even when your heart felt heavy. That endurance didn't come from motivation. It came from necessity. You learned how to stand alone before you ever learned how to lead. Look at your work history. You may have had jobs where you carried responsibility without authority. You were trusted with tasks others couldn't handle, yet rarely acknowledged. At the time, it felt unfair. But now you see it gave you something rare: integrity without applause. You learned to work with excellence even when recognition was absent. That discipline is not common and it is not wasted. Or consider your financial journey. Perhaps you had to learn restraint early. You learned how to stretch resources, delay gratification, say no when others said yes. While friends spent freely, you calculated carefully. It wasn't glamorous, but it taught you stewardship. It taught you that money is a tool, not an identity. And one day that understanding will protect what God places in your hands. Even in your family life, you may have been the one who matured too soon. The peacemaker, the emotional anchor, the one who absorbed tension so others wouldn't fall apart. That role was heavy. Sometimes it felt unfair that you had to be strong before you were ready. But it sharpened your discernment. You learned to read rooms, sense shifts, carry weight. Those are leadership muscles formed in hidden places. Here is the truth. Few people understand God often hides his preparation in seasons that feel like punishment. But silence is not abandonment. Delay is not denial. Isolation is not rejection. These are classrooms. You were learning patience when nothing moved, humility when no one praised you, faith when evidence was absent. These lessons cannot be rushed, and they cannot be learned in comfort. Let me ask you something directly. And answer it honestly, would you still pursue your calling if no one ever clapped for it? Because that question exposes the heart. Many want influence, but few want formation. Many desire visibility, but avoid invisibility. Yet the ones God trusts with weight are the ones who learned how to stand firm when no one affirmed them. You may remember moments when you wanted to quit believing, quit hoping, quit expecting more. Moments when you told yourself this is just how life is, but something always stopped you. A quiet restraint. A sense that walking away would cost more than staying. That was not stubbornness. That was purpose holding you in place. The word speaks into seasons like this, seasons of waiting, shaping, and hidden growth. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9. In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. This verse reframes the silence. You planned, you tried, you adjusted. But God was establishing, and what felt like detours were actually alignment. What felt like delays were actually precision. You were not lost. You were being positioned. You were not being weakened in those hidden years. You were being stabilized. God was anchoring you so that when movement comes, you won't be swayed by opinion, pressure, or ego. The silence taught you how to listen. The waiting taught you how to endure. The misunderstanding taught you how to stand without explanation. Imagine if everything you wanted had arrived earlier. You might have mishandled it. You might have depended on validation instead of conviction. You might have confused opportunity with identity. Delay saved you from yourself. Now picture the hope embedded in this truth. What if those years were not wasted at all? What if they were investments? What if every unseen sacrifice was quietly compounding into wisdom, authority, and clarity you couldn't yet perceive? This doesn't erase the pain you felt, but it reframes it. It gives meaning to the nights you cried alone, to the times you felt behind, to the seasons you questioned your worth. None of it disqualified you. It refined you, and refinement changes how you move forward. You no longer chase noise. You value substance. You don't rush decisions. You weigh them. You don't need to prove yourself, you know yourself. That calm confidence is rare, and it was forged, not gifted. So as you stand where you are now, more aware, more grounded, more discerning, ask yourself this one question: if the season of silence was necessary, are you willing to trust what comes next without demanding control? Because what is ahead requires exactly who you've become, not who you used to wish you were. And when movement finally comes, it will feel quiet, almost ordinary, but inside, everything will click. You will recognize the moment not by noise, but by peace, replacing years of internal resistance. So do not despise where you are standing now. This ground has memory. It remembers every tear, every delay, every silent yes, and it will testify that you were ready when the next door opened. Joseph did not discover his gift in a palace. He did not activate his calling on a stage, under approval, or surrounded by opportunity. His gift awakened in confinement. Picture it clearly. A prison, stone walls, limited light, no control over his schedule, no proof that the dreams God once showed him would ever come true. This is where Joseph's God-given ability to interpret dreams became fully alive. Not when he was favored, not when he was admired, but when he was forgotten. Joseph had every reason to shut down, betrayed by his brothers, sold like property, wrongfully accused, buried in a system that did not care about his innocence or his future. And yet, inside that prison, something sacred happened. He stayed spiritually attentive. He did not numb himself. He did not let bitterness dull his discernment. That matters because many people lose their gift not through failure, but through resentment. When the cupbearer and baker shared their dreams, Joseph didn't say, "I'm too broken to help." He didn't say, "God hasn't answered me yet, so why should I serve?" He leaned into his gift while still wounded, and that is where activation truly happens. Now bring this into your life. You may feel like you are in your own version of a prison not made of bars, but of circumstances. A job that limits you, a financial situation that restricts your choices, a family environment where your voice feels small, a season where progress feels stalled and unseen. And you may be asking, why would God wait until now to use me? But what if this is not delay? What if this is the exact environment where your gift matures? Joseph's ability was not dependent on location. It was dependent on faithfulness. Prison did not cancel his calling, it clarified it. The pressure stripped away ego. The isolation sharpened discernment. The injustice purified his motive. Look at your everyday reality. Perhaps you're at work doing tasks far beneath your capability. You feel overqualified, underutilized. But you are learning how to observe systems, how to read people, how to solve problems without authority. Those are not small skills, those are leadership muscles forming quietly. Or consider your finances again. Maybe you don't have excess, but you have insight. You notice patterns. You sense opportunities others overlook. You've learned restraint. You've learned patience. Those lessons are not punishment. They are preparation. Many people receive provision before wisdom and lose both. You are being trained in reverse, even in family life. Maybe you're the one who sees emotional truths no one wants to name. You notice cycles repeating. You sense what needs healing. That discernment can feel heavy, but it is also a gift, one that matures through compassion, not control. Joseph did not escape prison by demanding justice. He moved forward by exercising his gift right where he was. That is the part people skip. They want the outcome without the posture. Let me ask you something honestly. Are you waiting for your environment to change before you allow your gift to function? Because that waiting might be the very thing delaying your elevation. The Bible marks the turning point with clarity. As the record tells us in the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 39, "Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you." Notice when this was said, after prison, after service, after faithfulness in obscurity. Pharaoh did not recognize Joseph's gift until God had refined Joseph's character. The gift opened the door, but the maturity sustained it. This is critical for you to hear. Gifts are activated under pressure, but they are trusted only after refinement. You may feel frustrated that no one sees what you carry. But ask yourself, are you still practicing it? Are you still sharpening it? Or have you paused your obedience because recognition hasn't arrived? Joseph did not know that interpreting one dream in prison would position him to interpret a nation's future. He just stayed faithful to the moment in front of him. And this is where hope becomes very practical. Imagine this: you stop despising your current season. You begin to treat your present environment as training, not punishment. You show excellence where others complain. You remain spiritually sensitive where others shut down. Slowly, your discernment sharpens when your confidence steadies, and when opportunity finally comes, you are not scrambling, you are ready. That kind of readiness cannot be faked. Now here is the tension. Faithfulness in obscurity is costly. It requires humility. It requires resisting comparison. It requires trusting that God sees what people overlook. But it also produces something rare: authority without arrogance. Joseph stepped into leadership without needing to prove himself. He had already survived being unseen. So let me bring this back to you with one direct question. If God activated your gift fully today, would your character be ready to carry it tomorrow? That question is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to focus you. Your prison is not permanent. Your silence is not meaningless. Your current limitation is not the end of your story. It may be the very place where heaven is shaping you for influence you cannot yet imagine. Before we move forward, mark this moment inwardly. If this resonates, type a short declaration in the comments: I stay faithful. Those 3 words matter. They are not about public display. They are about inner posture. Staying faithful when no one is watching is how gifts are protected before they are promoted. Joseph did not chase destiny. He cultivated faithfulness, and destiny found him. There comes a moment when separation no longer feels like loss, but like clarity. You don't wake up angry anymore. You wake up aware. Certain conversations no longer pull you in. Certain environments no longer fit. It's not that you've become cold, it's that your vision is sharpened. What once felt familiar now feels heavy, and what once felt lonely now feels clean. This is the stage few people talk about honestly: separation before elevation. Not dramatic separation, not loud exits, but quiet distancing. You notice invitations slowing down, messages unanswered, circles shrinking. At first, it stings. You wonder if you did something wrong. You replay interactions. You ask yourself if you're being too sensitive. But over time, you realize something deeper is happening. God is clearing space. Look closely at your relationships. Some people were essential for who you were, but incompatible with who you are becoming. They are not enemies. They are not villains. They simply belong to a former season. And seasons, by design, do not last forever. When you insist on carrying relationships that no longer align, you don't preserve love, you dilute direction. Elevation requires focus, and focus requires release. Think about your work environment. You may feel an increasing sense of misfit, not because you lack competence, but because your inner standards have shifted. You crave meaning, not just metrics; integrity, not just income; purpose, not just promotion. While others are comfortable cutting corners, something in you refuses. That resistance is not rebellion. It is separation forming from the inside out. Even your approach to finances begins to change. You question habits you once excused. Impulse spending loses its thrill. You think generationally instead of temporarily. You feel accountable for future impact, not just present comfort. At first, this feels restrictive. But restriction, when guided, is often the doorway to expansion. Separation often feels like subtraction, but heaven rarely subtracts without intention. What is being removed is not what sustains you. It is what distracts you. Let me ask you directly, are you trying to drag familiar comfort into a future that requires greater capacity? Because elevation demands space, new responsibility requires new structure, and structure cannot be built on clutter, emotional, relational, or spiritual. This is where many people unknowingly resist God. They pray for growth but cling to what keeps them small. They ask for increase but refuse to release what drains them. Separation feels harsh only when you cannot yet see what it is making room for. The word speaks clearly into this moment. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 19. If you separate what is precious from what is worthless, you will be my spokesman. Notice the order. Separation comes before authority, discernment comes before influence. God entrusts His voice to those who know what to carry and what to leave behind. This is not about superiority. It is about stewardship. You cannot steward calling while entertaining confusion. You cannot hear clearly while surrounding yourself with constant noise. Separation is how your hearing sharpens. Think back to moments when you chose rest instead of explanation, when you said no without anger, when you withdrew quietly without drama. Those were not retreats. They were recalibrations. Heaven was fine-tuning your signal. And here is the hope: many miss separation is temporary, but elevation reshapes your entire trajectory. Imagine a life where your relationships feel aligned instead of draining, where your work reflects who you are, not just what you can do, where your finances support vision instead of fueling anxiety. That kind of life does not come from striving harder. It comes from aligning deeper. This process is gentle when you cooperate and exhausting when you resist. You don't need to announce your separation. You don't need to justify it. Growth does not require explanation. Trees do not apologize for shedding leaves in winter. They trust the season because spring understands what winter prepared. If someone walks away, let them. If an opportunity fades, release it. If an old version of you no longer fits, lay it down with honor. You are not losing momentum. You are shedding weight. And something subtle happens when you choose alignment. Your life begins to speak without words. Your peace becomes an invitation. Your clarity becomes a signpost. Some will follow. Some will observe. Some will disappear. All of it is permitted. This is where choice becomes sacred and quiet. No applause, no witnesses, just an internal yes that reshapes everything downstream. And if this moment feels like standing in a clearing after a long walk through dense forest where the noise finally thins and the direction becomes visible, pause here for a breath. Some moments are meant to be marked, not rushed. Choosing to like this message is like placing a small stone on the path behind you, not for others, but so your own soul remembers this was the place where clarity arrived. You may know someone walking a similar narrowing road, confused by loss but sensing growth. Sharing this is like lighting a lantern at the edge of the trail, not forcing anyone to follow. Simply making the way visible for those who are ready. And if these words feel familiar, like echoes of something you've carried but never named, subscribing is not commitment to a channel. It is choosing to stay near a well that gives clean water when the journey stretches long. Quiet proximity, no pressure, just wisdom available when you need it. Some doors do not open with force. They open because you chose presence when truth passed by. Before we move forward, sit with this one question: what is God asking you to release, not because it is bad, but because it cannot travel with you where you are going? Your answer will determine how freely you rise. Now that separation has done its quiet work, a new responsibility emerges. Not louder, not heavier, clearer. This is the moment where God begins to ask a different kind of question. Not are you ready to receive, but are you ready to steward? Because receiving is momentary, stewardship is daily. Many people pray for gifts without realizing that gifts arrive wrapped in responsibility. What God places in your hands: time, influence, insight, resources, relationships. He places there to be managed, not admired. And if you don't recognize what you are already managing, you may mishandle what is coming next. So let's slow this down and make it practical. Look at your current life honestly. What consistently shows up under your care, not what you want someday, but what is already entrusted to you now. For some, it's your work. You may not own the company, or you may not lead the department, but you are managing atmosphere. People come to you for clarity. You calm chaos. You solve problems quietly. That is governance. You are stewarding stability in places others bring disorder. Treat that seriously. Excellence where you are is often the audition for what's next. For others, it's finances. Maybe the amount feels small, but stewardship is never about size. It's about faithfulness. How you handle limited resources reveals how you would handle abundance. Are you intentional or reactive? Do you spend to soothe emotions or to serve vision? Money listens to leadership. If you don't lead it, it will lead you. In family life, perhaps you are managing emotional ground. You're the one who notices tension before it explodes. The one who carries empathy without control. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you entrusted. But here is the discipline: stewardship does not mean overextension. You are called to manage presence, not rescue everyone from consequences. Some of you are stewarding something invisible but powerful: discernment. You sense when something is off. You read between words. You notice motives. That is a gift. But unmanaged discernment turns into suspicion. Stewarded discernment becomes wisdom. This means you don't react to everything you perceive. You weigh it. You pray. You respond with timing, not impulse. Let me ask you something directly. Do you know what God has already placed under your care, or are you too focused on what you don't yet have? Because clarity begins with inventory. Here is a simple way to begin recognizing your current stewardship. Pay attention to what people consistently trust you with, even when you do not ask for it. Notice what kinds of responsibilities seem to follow you wherever you go, as if it naturally gravitates toward your presence. And reflect honestly on which area of your life you still feel accountable for. Even when no one is watching and there is no reward for doing it well, your answers to these quiet observations are not random. They point directly to assignment. Joseph didn't manage Egypt first. He managed integrity in prison. Then he managed people, then processes, then provision. Stewardship always scales, but it never skips steps. And Scripture anchors this principle firmly. According to what is revealed in the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10, "Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much." This verse dismantles excuses. There is no such thing as insignificant stewardship, only unrecognized responsibility. Heaven measures faithfulness, not visibility. Now let's ground hope here, because stewardship is not meant to feel heavy. It is meant to feel clarifying. Imagine this. You stop waiting for permission to lead what's already in front of you. You create structure where there was chaos. Boundaries where there was leakage, intention where there was drift. Slowly, confidence replaces confusion, not because life becomes easier, but because you know what you are responsible for and what you are not. That alone brings peace. Practically, this might mean setting a consistent rhythm for your work instead of burning out in cycles, creating a simple financial plan you actually follow, limiting access to your emotional energy instead of giving it away freely, developing your skill quietly instead of waiting for validation. None of this is glamorous, but all of it is powerful. Stewardship also requires restraint. Just because you can carry something doesn't mean you should. Overloading yourself is not obedience, it's avoidance of discernment. You are called to manage assignment, not absorb everything. Here's a life-level example. Imagine being entrusted with a small garden. If you keep wishing for a larger field but neglect the soil you have, nothing grows. But if you water consistently, protect boundaries, and remove weeds, growth becomes inevitable. Increase follows care. This is how God watches, not with pressure, but with precision. Let me ask you again, more pointedly this time: if God increased your responsibility tomorrow, what pattern in your life would have to change today? That question isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to empower you. Because change that begins voluntarily is lighter than change forced by crisis. And here's the quiet promise: when you steward well, God doesn't rush you, but He does trust you. Doors don't open with noise. They open because alignment has already been established. You don't need to chase bigger stages. You need to manage your current ground with honor. If this section clarified something for you, mark it not outwardly, but intentionally. In the comments, type 444, not as a superstition, but as a signal you recognize what is already under your care, and you are choosing to steward it with clarity instead of impatience. Because what you manage well today is what multiplies tomorrow. There is a moment after stewardship becomes clear when resistance quietly rises. Not dramatic opposition, not obvious attack, but subtle pressure that tests whether you truly value what has been entrusted to you. This is the phase where many people misunderstand what is happening and assume something has gone wrong, when in fact, something has gone right. Because resistance does not show up when something is insignificant. It shows up when what you carry has weight. You begin to notice it in small ways. Distractions increase. Fatigue sets in without clear cause. Doubt creeps into areas where confidence used to stand. You question decisions you were once certain about. This is not because you are regressing. It is because you are crossing into territory that requires endurance, not excitement. Think about your work life again. Perhaps you finally gained clarity about your role, your boundaries, your value. And suddenly, the workload intensifies, expectations rise. People test limits they once respected. You feel stretched, not because you are incapable, but because growth always demands expansion. Muscles ache before they strengthen. Or consider finances. You commit to stewarding wisely, and unexpected expenses appear. Old habits knock louder. Emotional spending tempts you when stress increases. This is not coincidence. Discipline is always challenged before it is established. The question is not whether pressure comes, but whether you respond with consistency or compromise. Even in relationships, resistance surfaces. When you become clearer, others feel it. Some adjust, some resist. Conversations shift. Boundaries are questioned. You may feel misunderstood again, even after doing the inner work. This is where many people retreat, not because they are wrong, but because they are tired. Let me say this plainly. Tiredness does not mean you should quit. It means you need rhythm. Spiritual maturity is not about constant intensity. It is about sustained faithfulness. Peaks are inspiring, but rhythms are transformative. You were never meant to live at maximum output every day. You were meant to move steadily, intentionally, wisely. This is where the inner battle becomes real, not between you and others, but between urgency and patience, between reaction and restraint, between proving yourself and trusting the process. You may feel the urge to explain yourself more, to justify decisions, to defend boundaries, but often silence is the stronger response, not passive silence, but grounded silence. The kind that knows clarity does not need argument. Scripture gives language to this season with sobering accuracy. The Apostle Paul wrote in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 36, "You have need of endurance, so that after you have done the will of God, you may receive the promise." Notice the order. You do the will, then you endure, then you receive. Many expect endurance to end before obedience is complete, but endurance often begins after obedience starts. That is what separates impulse from calling. This is where hope must become practical again. Imagine approaching your days differently. You stop measuring progress by speed and start measuring it by consistency. You create margins instead of burning yourself out. You choose rest without guilt. You treat your body, to mind, and spirit as instruments, not machines. In real terms, this might look like setting realistic work boundaries instead of constantly over-delivering. It might mean choosing fewer commitments but honoring them deeply. It might mean addressing fatigue early instead of pushing until collapse. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of wisdom. There is also a deeper layer here. Resistance tests motive. It reveals why you do what you do. Are you driven by approval or by alignment, by urgency? Or by obedience when pressure removes external affirmation? What remains becomes visible. This can feel uncomfortable, but it is cleansing. You are learning how to carry weight without losing joy, how to remain present without becoming rigid, how to stay faithful without becoming resentful. These are advanced lessons, taught only to those who are trusted with more. Let me ask you one direct question, and sit with it honestly when resistance increases. Do you tighten your grip or do you deepen your trust? Because tightening leads to control. Trust leads to endurance. Endurance does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means continuing with integrity even when motivation fluctuates. It means returning to rhythm when emotion wavers. It means choosing alignment repeatedly, not dramatically. And here is something reassuring. Resistance has a shelf life. It cannot last forever. It is allowed, but it is limited. Its role is to strengthen, not to destroy. What survives resistance emerges steadier, clearer, and more rooted. You are not meant to fight endlessly. You are meant to stand steadily. As this season unfolds, you may notice something subtle shifting inside you. Less urgency, more clarity, less need to explain, more peace in action. That is not passivity. That is authority settling into place. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not losing ground. You are learning how to remain. And remaining in the end is what allows promises to arrive intact. What you are becoming does not announce itself with urgency or noise. It settles quietly, like roots growing deeper beneath the surface. Others may not notice the change immediately, but you will feel it in how calmly you respond, how steadily you choose, how firmly you remain when pressure passes through. And one day, you will realize that what once exhausted you no longer controls you. The same circumstances exist, but they no longer define you. Endurance has reshaped your inner posture, and you stand not hardened, not hurried, but anchored, ready for what comes next. There is a quiet moment that arrives after endurance has done its work. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It settles into you gently, like breath returning after a long climb. You are no longer asking the same restless questions. You are no longer searching for signs everywhere. Something inside you has aligned not with noise, but with truth. This is what stepping fully into your calling actually feels like. Not constant certainty, not unbroken confidence, but a grounded knowing that even when you cannot see the entire road, you trust the one who is leading you. You move without rushing. You speak without forcing. You act without needing permission. Your life begins to flow instead of strain. Look at how this manifests in your daily world. In your work, you no longer tie your worth to applause or approval. You show up with excellence, then release outcomes. You stop overextending just to be seen. Instead, you bring steadiness, discernment, and presence. People may not always understand you, but they begin to rely on you. In your finances, fear loosens its grip. You are still intentional, still wise, but no longer anxious. Decisions come from clarity instead of panic. You plan with hope rather than scarcity. Resources become tools again, not sources of identity or control. In relationships, the shift is even deeper. You stop chasing connection that costs you peace. You stop explaining boundaries to people determined not to respect them. When aligned connections appear, they feel mutual, calm, and life-giving. You recognize them not by intensity or more, but by ease. This is what it means to walk crowned, not elevated above others, but anchored within yourself. Calling, you now understand, is not a moment you arrive at. It is a posture you inhabit. It is not a destination. It is a way of moving through ordinary days with extraordinary alignment. Scripture names this posture with rare gentleness, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 29. "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Calling is not meant to crush you. It is meant to align you. When you walk in step with what God has assigned, rest does not disappear, it deepens. Responsibility remains, but the weight is shared. Pressure no longer defines you. You spent years believing destiny must feel heavy to be real. But now you see the truth. One of the clearest signs of alignment is peace that remains even under pressure. Imagine waking up knowing your pace is right. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not competing. What is meant for you recognizes you without being chased. Doors open inward, not because you forced them, but because you arrived ready. This does not mean life becomes effortless. It means life becomes honest. You will still face decisions. You will still need discernment. You will still be asked to trust without full visibility. But now you trust from experience, not theory. You have walked through silence. You have stewarded faithfully. You have endured resistance, and you are still standing. So hold this final question gently, and let it echo beyond this moment. Are you willing to live as someone who truly believes God keeps his word? Even when fulfillment unfolds quietly, if these words have walked beside you through this journey, let them rest within you. Some encounters are not meant to be consumed quickly, they are meant to be carried. To like this message is like carving a small mark on the inside of a tree trunk, not for display, but so your soul remembers. This was the season I chose depth over noise. You may sense that someone else is standing at a similar threshold, awake, but unsure how to name it. To share this is like leaving a compass on a wooden table at dawn, not directing anyone's steps, simply reminding them that direction still exists. And if you feel drawn to remain near this kind of still clarity, this slow burning truth, subscribing is like keeping a candle lit in the window as night deepens. No vow, no pressure, just light waiting when the road feels long again. If your heart wants to respond, let it be simple and honest. Leave a short reflection in the comments, as one might write a sentence in a personal journal after a long prayer. Not to perform, not to impress, but to remember. You were never meant to rush your becoming. You were meant to inhabit it. And as you step forward from here, know this: you are not wandering. You are walking. You are not hoping blindly. You are trusting wisely. What God began in you was not interrupted, only refined. Even after this ending, the journey keeps breathing. Growth does not conclude with certainty. It continues through quiet obedience. Each ordinary day becomes sacred when you live aligned, choosing faithfulness again without needing reassurance or signs. When doubt revisits, you will not panic as before. You will recognize it as weather, not direction. Clouds pass, roots remain. What is planted deeply is not threatened by temporary shadow or silence. So walk on gently. Let patience pace you. Let trust steady you. You are not finishing something here, you are carrying it forward, embodied, grounded, and awake, allowing your life itself to become the message. If you've stayed until this point, there is no need to rush toward a conclusion. Some messages are not meant to close neatly. They are meant to remain slightly open, like a door left ajar, allowing air and light to move in their own time. If this message has been useful to you, If it helped you name something you've been carrying quietly, you are free to pass it on. Sharing does not have to be loud or public. It can be as simple as sending it to one person who might need it, or letting it surface naturally in a conversation when the moment feels right. Truth travels best when it is offered, not pushed. And if this message was not fully for you, that is also okay. Not every word is meant to land the same way for every listener. You don't need to take all of it with you. Just keep what touched you. One sentence, one image, one moment of clarity. Sometimes a single honest thought is enough to change how you walk forward. You don't owe this message anything. It was offered, not demanded. Like rain that falls whether the ground is ready or not, it simply came. What grows from it depends on what you allow to remain. As you return to your life, your work, your responsibilities, your relationships, carry yourself gently. Pay attention to the quiet signals. Notice what feels lighter now and what feels more defined. Growth does not always announce itself with certainty. Often, it shows up as calm where there used to be tension. If you forget most of what was said here, that's fine. What matters more is how you move next. Slower, perhaps more aware, more honest with yourself. That is enough. This ending does not ask you to agree, to follow, or to respond. It simply leaves space. And sometimes, space is the most respectful gift a message can give. What you do with it now is entirely yours.